we invite guests to come by and get high with us here in Nevada's original Cannabis Lounge. So let's get into it. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the NuWu Sessions Podcast. We're back at it with another one, and I'm excited to introduce my guest here, Miss Lauren McNaughton. How are we doing today?
Wonderful. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thank you for being on the podcast, being with us. Can't wait to dive in here and talk about some of these questions. But did want to start off. Is this your first time here at Sky High Lounge?
At the new location, I came to the old one in 2021, I think, with the Kiva team from California.
Very nice, very nice. Yes, I think the globe's pretty real here. I mean, we learned a lot in the old space, but we also learned we need to do it bigger. So welcome to the Sky High Lounge. We're excited to have you. Thank you very much. Gorgeous. Appreciate it. Well, let's get started here. But first, before we do that, let's introduce our drinks. We are both sipping on some ocean. Well, no, I said the old name. Scrub that. We're sipping on a Blue Dream, 5 milligrams of THC. Tastes like a vacation in a glass. Cheers.
Salud.
Delicious.
Delicious.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a beach in a cup. It's amazing. So let's get started here. For those who don't know, Miss Lauren is the brand director for Lost Farms by Kiva. Been doing it for a long time, but before we dive into that story, I want to bring it back to the very beginning. I want to talk about a young Lauren and how she got introduced to the plant. What was your first time using cannabis like?
A wild time, for sure. My first time, I think, is like many, where I didn't really feel it, but I was also apprehensive to really go hard. I think it took a couple like cheater puffs or a fake inhale. My second time, me and some friends smashed, I don't know, like a half ounce of Bammer in a water bottle bong.
Oh, wow.
And that sent me reeling. Crazy time. I am surprised they even came back to cannabis after that, because I was like so high, out of control, uncomfortable.
Right.
But then it was all uphill from there. So yeah, it was wonderful.
Awesome. So are you a regular cannabis user now?
Yes.
Awesome. What's your favorite way to consume?
I do a little bit of edibles throughout the day for maintenance. I'm a big THCV girly. And then I smoke flower basically exclusively on the weekends.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Keep it on a weekend activity. I think it's the first
Yeah.
time we've heard this on the podcast. That's cool, though. So when you're smoking on the weekends, do you have like a go-to strain, something that you like coming back to?
Super Silver Haze till I die.
Nice.
Till
That's a good
I die.
one. It's a classic Landrace strain there.
Yep.
Awesome. Beautiful. So when you're at home and you're smoking your flower, like how do you like to smoke your flower?
But like in bongs or papers, you mean? Rolling joints. Rolling joints. If I don't want to finish it, I'll just puff it throughout the day while I'm doing chores or, things around town. And then again with edibles, weekday, weekends, and if I'm smoking flower, the edibles will be the break in between.
Gotcha.
The joints,
okay.
yeah.
There you go. The maintenance, keeping you where you're trying to go, right?
Yep.
Edibles are great at that. Personally, I mean, I love edibles. I got started personally with the plant at a young age, making, weed brownies with my friends, like a lot of people did. And I love everyone's edible stories, because especially the first ones are always either like it did nothing or like I fell off the earth. You know what I mean? There's like no middle ground. Yeah. But no, I love hearing that too. And it's a great way, again, to keep that going. It's a hard thing when you're smoking, you're vaping, you're dabbing, whatever, to kind of try to maintain that. But edibles are a good way to do that. So it sounds like you found a really good system, something that works for you.
Now that I could trust it, yes. That's been after many bad experiences of like the homemade, you don't know what you're getting into. Or in my past life, I worked for Kurova, which is known for ultra potent edibles.
That's
so
right.
It's been a rocky road, but I've got my go-tos now. Reliable, love it.
There you go.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, what is your favorite cannabis story?
It's a little. I'll do a short version of a long story. So one of my great friends, Taylor, I've known him since I was about 14 years old. We've done a lot of road trips together. He's a great travel buddy. And one time we were doing a road trip of the entire west of America, 9 states in a few weeks. And we were very cautious as we're traveling outside of cannabis-friendly states or into to be cool. We're not smoking in the car. We're trying to not be high while driving, playing it extra cool. And about 10 miles, I'd say, outside of Denver, or outside of Colorado, in Wyoming, we get pulled over. And we had California plates, even though we were in a rental. and this trooper was convinced that we were trafficking, like Cheech and Chong style. He thought we had it packed in bricks on all the panels on the car and in the seats, and I think we literally had like a joint floating around in the car, and this trooper just would not give up and was like, if you don't tell me where your weed is, I'm going to tow the car and disassemble it on your dime. And the bright side of that story, because it's definitely doesn't sound like a favorite,
Right.
was another trooper showed up, and we were just chatting on the side of the road. He's like, what are you guys doing? We were heading into Colorado to go to this festival called Riot Fest, which is like punk rock, metal, eclectic little mix of tunes. And that guy was a big Slayer fan. Slayer was playing at Riot Fest, and he was able to convince this guy to let us go and end it. We didn't get off totally scot-free. Hearts out to Taylor, who took a little bit of a probation hit. They did end up finding the one joint,
Right.
but it just a wacky time. I'm like, you get so spoiled in these states where it's legal recreationally, or you have a medical card, and you forget that like just in the neighboring state next door, like it's still big crimes,
A whole nother
big
world,
crimes.
right? Yeah. No, it's crazy. I actually have a very similar story myself. I was on a West Coast road trip and was driving through Wyoming and was in the middle of nowhere. I was supposed to be going to the national park up there,
Yellowstone.
I was trying to go to Yellowstone, and it was like snowing. We weren't equipped for it, and it's like, okay, cool, let's just turn around and start heading back. I'm in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, got pulled over. Very similar story where, the cops are there, out of state tags. I had actually gotten pulled over 2 days prior in Oregon. They saw that and they were like, oh, this guy's definitely muling weed. They got their drug dog, which was this excited puppy who was just clearly excited. And they're like, oh, this dog doesn't act like this unless there's pounds of weed in the car. I had 2 grams. I left home with a quarter. I had 2 grams left. Flipped my car upside down, got jammed up, got arrested, the whole thing. That's one of the things I was like, okay, I gotta not hang out in these states, I guess. This is crazy, because it's just like you said, it's not that far away, just a neighboring state, but it's like a whole different world, whole different culture. And the cops in Wyoming were very aggressive with me. I got accused of muling all types of things. Like, it was just not a fun experience. I'm glad yours had a silver lining, because mine didn't. It was just like, cool, I just got arrested. Now I'm on probation. But
I would definitely, I would consider that my wildest cannabis story over like I've got so many favorites of like patients where cannabis saved their life, and
Right.
just great memories. And part of the fat I cut out of that story actually was he did bring out a dog, and we were like, oh, fuck, this dog's, game over, because he hadn't found anything yet. And it was a puppy, and it was like a little beagle dog. And I was like, what the hell? The dog still didn't find anything. It was useless. So maybe it was the same.
Yeah. Was this Pinedale, Wyoming? I don't know. I know mine was around 2015. It's crazy. We're living two versions of the same story. It's pretty wild.
Strange.
So, what motivated you to actually start wanting to work in the cannabis space?
That starts in 8th grade.
Okay.
A little bit of foreshadowing on my adult self. I got expelled out of school for selling weed, and ended up in like continuation schools or bad kids schools, whatever you want to call it, which was actually really great for me and my learning style. No complaints there. And what got me into cannabis on payroll, I guess you could say, is I was in retail, and I thought that was going to be where I spent my career. And I had some family friends, who founded Corova. And so they were trying to get me to come, join the team and scale the brand. It was still when it was super small, California only. And I didn't know a ton about the medical industry, and I had a lot of reservations. I'm a queen for like security. I'm not a huge risk taker.
Right.
And so the agreement was, I'll do it on weekends, I'll do this little side gig. And then I kept giving myself milestones on when I'll invest it into it full time, And I was like, oh, if I open these doors, and if I close this account, and if I hit this amount of sales, and I kept achieving those goals, and then kept raising the bar. And finally, I was just like, this is a crazy opportunity that I don't want to miss up. And so I left retail, and I've been in cannabis ever since. It's been going on, I think, 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
There you go.
been a wild ride.
Hey, an OG here in this industry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a very old industry at all. It's still very much in its nascency. And, to your credit, that's awesome, pioneering the whole space and being out here. So good on you, and thank you for your contributions.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
So this is probably a good segue to where we introduce our VIP table packages that we do offer here in the Sky High Lounge. We do have a very special guest server here as well. So we have some amazing products on here too. You guys here in Nevada are partnered up with Matrix, that's correct?
Correct.
So we got a bunch of their products on here. I think we got some rollies, an eighth. We've also got our brand new Volcano Vaporizer, one of the newest things we just added here in the Sky High Lounge. But yeah, let's take a look at it. Let's smoke some weed, right?
Did someone order a VIP package?
Yes, sir.
Here you are.
Look at this tall, beautiful man. Oh, and look at all that good weed, right? Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it. So, yeah, like I said, we've got an eighth here. I want to say this is the Dupree's Diamonds eighth. We have a couple, I believe it's the white miso pre-rolls. We do have, I can't remember the extract, but I know it's their new rosin line, which is amazing. And, of course, we have some Lost Farms here, the very cherry, what does it say, supersonic bananas? Ooh, man. Okay. So how would you like to get started?
Dealer's choice.
So I think the easiest way is sparking a rollie.
Yep.
Get this guy right here. We'll start that. We got the NuWu lighters as well. I think we start there, and then maybe we, try this Volcano out. I know I've been a Volcano user myself for years. Love the device and very excited to have it here in the Sky High Lounge. But let's take a look what we got here. So we're looking at the white miso pre-roll, 28.7% THC. Woo, nice myrcene profile, limonene, and caryophyllene. So this looks like it's going to be a doozy. Let's get into it.
I think I might have the same. I don't have a tag on mine, so.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. These should be the same ones.
Cool.
So. Beautiful. So let's get started here. Cheers. Oops. So, can you share the story behind the creation of Kiva Confections?
Yes, I can. In a second.
Yeah. I queued that one right up. That's all me.
So our co-founders, Scott and Christy Palmer, they are now husband and wife. At the time they were, seriously dating. They had met in photography school, I believe in Santa Barbara. And as the legend is told, professional photography wasn't cutting the mustard for them. And Christy has some roots in cannabis and the Emerald Triangle up in Northern California. And so their first dabble into the cannabis space, and this was back in 215 days in California when it was medical market. They started with a clone nursery, distributing clones to retail partners. And if anybody's ever worked with clones or sold clones or housed clones, it's a nightmare. They die all the time. People don't take care of them. You're constantly refreshing product. So that wasn't necessarily the angle. And I don't know if it was Scott or Christy or the both of them, but they discovered this opportunity for like reliable, consistent, clean, lab-tested edibles. Back then, the market was like, there were some reputable brands, certainly, but you'd still get like the homemade pot brownie with who knows what's in it. Right. Is the weed clean? Is it not? It's in a sandwich bag with like an Avery label on it. And so that's what started the idea of Kiva, which ended up launching with 2 chocolate bars, a milk and a dark, and infused with cold water hash, which is still how they are infused to this day. They launched at a HempCon, which was, one of the Cannabis Cup shows popular in Northern California. Sold out, and the rest is history. It's scaled from growing the chocolate bar portfolio to different strengths and flavors back in the medical market to terabytes, which are probably the most famous product. Everybody knows the blueberries. You hear about them on TV all the time. Followed by Petramints, which are microdose, little pocket-sized portable mints. Camino, terpene-tailored effects-based gummies. And then rounding out the portfolio was Lost Farm, which launched in 2020.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. That's quite a lineup. I think you guys are covering all your bases, but still have several tasty treats and good brand recognition therein. So good on you guys. And how many states are you guys currently operating in?
15, I believe.
Oh, wow.
We've got a couple on the horizon. Camino, the brand Camino has the largest footprint and is in just about every single market. And then depending on the state or the climate, even some markets might not have chocolate, or Lost Farm is coming soon. So as you know, like Kiva Chocolate's been here in Nevada, Camino's been here, Lost Farm's been out for 4 years, and we're just now getting here. So, not everything is available in every single market, but the most important products certainly are, or they're coming very soon.
Very nice. Very nice. So you guys are officially live with Lost Farms here in Nevada, right?
Yeah, we launched 2 weeks ago with an instant sellout, which means, Adam, my colleague here, has said for years, because we've both worked here for a minute, that the market's hungry for Lost Farm. Everybody wants it. I know we get a lot of crossover from California and Arizona, which both are Lost Farm markets. And so the appetite was certainly there. We've launched with a modest little portfolio of 3 SKUs, but that's only just the beginning. I've gotten to pop around quite a few dispensaries over the week, and we did an event last night, and it seems that people are just so excited for this brand to be here, which is great.
Nice.
Yeah,
good for you guys. Congrats on a successful launch, and we're just barely getting started, right? Can't wait to see everything else.
Yeah.
When you said cold water hash infused chocolates, like I literally got like hungry, because I love hash. I actually got started in the industry myself, making hash and rosin for my old company and things like that. So I've got a soft spot in my heart for hash, and it's one of those things in the Nevada market. Just hash by itself is not something that you really see. I think it's just a THC driven market, and hash is only going to test so high. But I love hash. I love the effect, and just hash infused edibles just sounds like a whole vibe. So
it's a vibe and a half.
There we go. We go.
You get that nice body high too.
So how did you come to work for Kiva Confections?
I was with Corova for a long time. Did a lot of great things there. Helped grow the California market, and the whole reason I left was I created this plan. Here's a callback to my buddy Taylor that I mentioned earlier. He had already moved to Oregon at that point, and we were considering going into some sort of cannabis business. And so the next play for me was I was going to move to Oregon, and we were going to figure it out. And I was so convinced I was moving to Oregon. I sold my house. I got a pod storage unit. I sent it to Portland. And then like 2 days before, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I have family here. I had young nephews. I didn't want to miss them growing up. And, I'm just, I guess I'm just lame. So sent everything back. But with all that said, I didn't have a job anymore. And my role had been filled at Grove. I trained my replacement. And there was really only one brand I wanted to work for in the space, and that was Kiva. I've admired them from afar since I've been in the industry. And so they happened to have an opening in sales in Sacramento for this tiny little territory. At the time, we only had Kiva bars, terabytes, super small portfolio. Interviewed for the job, got the job, and then rest is history again. Yeah.
That is wild, especially, you're clearly, my mind's made up. I'm doing this. I'm putting all this in here. Get cold feet, but still find a loving home. Like that's a really, that's a cool story.
I'm blessed and fortunate, and I'm very grateful for that.
And how long ago was that? How long have you been with Kiva?
Coming up on 9 years.
Wow. Congrats. Yeah. That's amazing.
9 years in December. And there's not a ton of us, because the company's still relatively young, founded in 2010, but there's a good handful of us that are creeping up on 10 years, which is awesome.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
What were some like early obstacles you had when you first got started with Kiva? What are some things that you kind of had to do to cut your teeth and prove your worth?
The biggest one, and I still get triggered by this during key moments in the industry, was the navigation between the 215 days into Prop 64 recreational market. There was, over the course of that year of transition, so many regulation changes, which means packaging is no longer within compliance, and tons of out of stock and pissed off customers, and just navigating that obstacle. And also, the company's having this explosive growth while all these new people are coming to dispensaries, and it was very taxing. And I know that wasn't just for me. That was literally anybody that was in the industry at that time. We talk 2018 is that year that people start their eye twitches.
Yeah.
That would definitely be my hardest time in cannabis, and that's no reflection of Kiva whatsoever. That the industry wasn't ready for that explosive growth, and then all of those compliance changes in rapid fire.
100%. I think that you hit the nail on the head. Just it lends itself to the nature of the industry.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which market you're in. It is just it's a lot of hurry up and wait, and then it's just a lot of like rapid change. You know, I personally have been in the industry for 8 years myself, all the entire time here in Nevada, and everything you said resonates with me because I remember when recreational went live, and I remember when we couldn't move cannabis here in Nevada just because of the way we had the regs set up, and we couldn't. There just wasn't infrastructure, and it seems like. Working in the cannabis space is almost like dog years. Like every 1 year feels like 7 because like so much happens in a year compared to if we were selling, I don't know, neon lights or towels or whatever. You know what I mean? It just seems like it wouldn't be as hectic, but it lends itself to the nature of the industry and just how new it is, and needs people, cut from that right cloth in order to be out here just moving things forward. So
Got to be tenacious, but the rewards are 10x of what you would get selling towels or light bulbs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get to see the fruits of your labor in real time, basically. So well, that's awesome. So we've talked about how you came to work for Kiva. Can you please describe your role at Kiva?
Sure. Yeah. I'm currently the brand director for Lost Farm / Kiva Chocolates. We have bars and terabyte little chocolate balls that we talked about earlier. I'd say the majority of my workload is allocated to supporting the brand Lost Farm, and that goes beyond just marketing, like opportunities like this, or building those displays, things like that. The brand teams, we have another brand director that oversees Camino and Petra. We work together on a lot of our innovation plans. I do a lot of supply planning for Lost Farm with my co-pilot Nicole, who could not do this role without her, but she does all of our procurement. We spend hours and hours and hours and hours planning our innovation on what strains we're bringing to the lineup. Are we bringing new formats, or are we going to source some new live resin? And as you know, like, nature is going to do what it's going to do, so we have to plan some SKUs like over a year in advance if somebody's not already growing it, or if we don't have accessibility to a dope landrace that we're looking for, or something high in CBG. So innovation's a piece of it, supply planning's a piece of it, marketing's certainly a big piece of it. And then we have some hands in package design, and supporting all of our markets, right? Like bread and butter market would likely be California, but we've got some, Illinois has a huge Lost Farm fan base, and we're launching some new exciting things in Illinois in a couple months here. So it's a little bit of a bunch of different pieces of the pie that make this thing happen, but I love it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, and that it shows you wouldn't be here doing it as long as you have, rolling with all the punches and all the fun things that the industry throws at you. So what are some of your favorite Lost Farms products and why?
I'm a sucker for a Lost Farm. So the first one that won my heart is a California offering, and it's strawberry lemonade gummy infused with super lemon haze.
Oh, very
so
nice.
we know I love my sativas. So that was the first one that won me. I'm a big fan of any market that has this chili mango offering, because it's a little sweet, little heat. The strains are going to vary market to market, which is also super fun. We've dabbled in playing with minor cannabinoids in some of our products, and I've really enjoyed those because I like using cannabis for medical needs. Even though I'm a recreational user, I have back pain, I catch a bad attitude, I'm tired, I need to get motivated. So we've done some products with THCV in them that I really love. But honestly, I'm such a sucker for the brand that I fall in love with anything that's new. I always think it's the best thing we've ever made because we're constantly innovating. We're only getting better and better,
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, and with rapid expansion, I know I've been hearing Adam talk about this product for years now, and very excited to see you guys live here in Nevada. And I'm sure you're going to have great success because with that live resin infusion, it is something that it is a category kind of in its own, you know what I mean? If you're that type of user, you definitely know what you're looking for and why. And with the way you guys already have everything with the strain specificity on it is really cool. So And so when you're saying the cannabinoids, though, are you talking about like ratioed kind of? Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. I know that's something in the edible field, and you're right, for the medical user, you know what I mean? Even just the health conscious user. It's kind of cool to have those offerings and things like that. You said THCV. Is there any other cannabinoids that you personally enjoy using?
That would be my favorite. I do take CBN every night for sleep, which a little plug into the future. We will have a Lost Farm CBN SKU launching here in Nevada in just a couple months.
Very nice.
So with Dupree's Diamonds as the
Okay.
strain. And then CBG I use a lot for like pain relief or mood. Those are my big three.
There you go. Good go-to. Good go-tos. And this Dupree's Diamond, how have you guys been enjoying the partnership with Matrix? Because I know when I first met Adam, you guys are with a different partner here in the Nevada market, and you guys have found a new home here with Matrix, which obviously they're long-standing partners of ours. We have great relationships with it. But how's everything been on with that relationship for you guys?
Well, for me personally, they got Lost Farm out here, so they're good in my book. I've heard great things. I got to meet a bunch of the team last night at this little industry night that we hosted. They're awesome. They're super collaborative, very, very supportive. Haven't got a chance to check out the facility personally, but I hear it's state of the art. It's been great, and really appreciate the team for helping get this across the finish line.
Very nice. When you do get an opportunity to go there, you're going to love it. I've been there a few times myself. They have a gorgeous facility, and I really like that. For a lot of facilities that I've personally seen, you don't necessarily see a lot of branding in the cultivation side, and you don't really need to because it's not consumer facing. But I think that's one of the things that Matrix does that stands alone. Like, you see their logo, their branding, their coloring, and everything like in the cultivation, which is really cool to see.
That is cool.
Drives it home.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that obviously marketing is part of your role.
Yes.
And what you're doing. So what are some obstacles that you had to face with marketing cannabis? This is something that I personally have been dealing with NuWu for a while, but I always like talking, to marketers in this space because it is such a unique hurdle. So what have been some obstacles you've had to overcome?
The first obstacle, candidly, is marketing, period, because I have my entire adult background is in sales and sales leadership. And there's a lot of functional similarities between the two. Ultimately, we're trying to get somebody to buy a product, right?
Right.
But the biggest hurdles as a marketer are compliance, certainly, right? What works here might not work there.
Right.
You always got to, protect the children. Social media is really, really challenging, especially for us. Like, we scrub our images. There's no hot words on it. There's no warning symbols, and we'll still get shadow banned, or we've had our account restricted and taken down. And then in some markets, it's damn near impossible to do any marketing. I won't name them specifically, but you can't advertise outside. You can't promote anything in store. You can't have signage in anything because a child might see it or for whatever reasons. And so that makes it really hard to help elevate your brand when you can't really do anything except put it on the shelf.
Yeah, no. Again, I totally empathize with that struggle. Again, been with NuWu for 5 years now. When we first opened up the Vegas tasting room, being the marketing guy for the company, I was like, okay, other than, obviously there's some lounges in California, but they operate very differently than us. And as you already said, it's different from state to state. So I'm like, I didn't really have anything to go off of. And it's literally one of the reasons we started this podcast, because there were so many customers and confusion on, like, why do I need all this? And what is all this? What does this entail? Why can't I just bring my own weed and smoke it? Because don't make money off that. So it was one of the reasons we even started the podcast, was because I'm like, okay, YouTube's great with like age gating things and kind of making that side a little more friendly. And it gives us a long form platform to really kind of just put customers here in the lounge so they can see exactly what we're doing. Like, in a common space, socializing, you know what I mean, enjoying some cannabis products. So it doesn't feel so foreign, But I definitely empathize with you there. You just kind of have to, you pivot, and the rules are always changing too on the social media pages and things like that. It's always, again, it's just like the nature of the cannabis industry. You got to hurry up and wait, and then pivot when you need to.
Yeah, adapt or die is what I always say.
Adapt or die. I like that. That's much cleaner. I might have to borrow that.
It's all yours.
There we go. So with all those obstacles, how do you keep yourself inspired doing this 9 years later?
The thing that keeps me inspired, I was just talking with my boss about this actually last week, is getting out and seeing what's going on and touching grass, for lack of a better term. Number one, it helps keep me sharp as a cannabis professional, period. 2, it helps me as a marketer. But 3, like the reason I love this industry and have stuck around is meeting people and interacting with colleagues and meeting strangers that have these stories that the plant saved their life or, helps them get sleep for the first time in years. So that's a big piece of it. And then I've lost my train of thought. Clearly the joint or the beverage is kicking in. Where were we?
There we go. We were talking about staying inspired.
Yes. Getting out in the field, that's the biggest thing for me. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what people want. I like, meeting new faces. That's absolutely the key for me. I'm not a desk job type, so I got to get out and about.
There you go. Go and engage the community and again see the fruits of your labor real time. Right? Mm-hmm. So I don't like the expression touch grass. That's another thing, and it lends itself to the nature of cannabis.
Start taking notes.
Yeah, exactly, right. So what would you say sets Kiva apart from the other brands?
Innovation. I mean, hands down. Most of the brands, we're certainly not the only brands or products that have whatever their specialty is in the market. Certainly not, but for many things we were the first, which is great. Scott is incredible with like the amount of research and both inside the cannabis space and out on like what's the next cutting edge innovation. A great, for instance, is when we were about to launch Petra, was like a microdose mint. Like microdose wasn't even really language in cannabis at that point.
Right.
Like, are people even going to want that? Like, you never know. And everything we've done has been really well respected by the consumer. It's a brand that people can trust, which is awesome. And we're never sedentary. Even if Lost Farm is doing great, we want to continue to innovate the brand itself or open new markets or bring new SKUs. And that's definitely, I think, what sets us above the rest for sure.
100%. And I think you guys have an exceptional team. You guys are everyone I've met from the team is very clearly passionate about not just the brand, but the plant and the culture, and again, just stewarding it forward. So you guys have a great team over there.
Agreed.
Tell me a little bit about the Kiva, Camino, Lost Farms packaging.
It's beautiful. We'll start there. We'll start with it's child resistant because that seems to be the most important, depending who you ask.
Definitely, that's a good thing to have.
So there's different things that make all of the packaging, special and unique. Starting with Kiva bars, it's the flagship product. They've looked very similar since the beginning of time, since 2010. Of course, there's been some design updates, but there's a lot of similarities since day one, which is great. Especially if you're a nostalgic type. The packaging is compostable, and most of the materials we have in all of our products are recyclable. Camino products are great, and Petra because they're portable. I guess Lost Farm too, you could throw them in your pocket on the go. And then, different great design elements that really tell a wonderful brand story for each different sub-brand. The Kiva bar is not going to look anything like a Lost Farm. Petra is not going to look anything like a Camino. They're different shoppers entirely, and all the branding is gorgeous, but unique and independent on its own.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head with that. You guys, all the brands under the Kiva umbrella all have immediately recognizable branding, but you're right, they don't feel derivative or contrived. They're all they stand alone. So you guys have done a great job about that. And can you tell me a little bit about the Kiva Cares project?
Yeah. So far, that's a California-only opportunity we have. We're certainly looking for more. So, again, going back to what I keep calling the 215 days, California medical market, one of the greatest things we had during that time period was compassion programs. If you had a cannabis dispensary, you're actually required to allocate a certain amount of products or time for compassionate use and compassionate care. And we lost a lot of that as we turned to a rec use market, which is unfortunate because these industries are what they are because of the people that did the fighting for us and these people that are, sick or in pain that truly need this as a medicine. So what Kiva Cares is a little extension of that. We have certain products from the Kiva portfolio that will be allocated solely for compassionate projects. So we'll work with California cannabis companies who have certain licensing, and they'll do once a month. Their patients on their compassion program can come get a ton of free product. Kiva is certainly not the only brand that does this, but it's either free or low cost. for the people that truly need it the most.
Cool.
And shout out to Erica from Kiva, who totally spun up that project and super proud of it.
Oh, that's a beautiful initiative. And I also think, on the question beforehand, the way you guys have really tried to keep sustainability an important factor in all the brands under the Kiva umbrella is good to see. Because, again, having been in the medical market here in Nevada and seeing the transition into recreational, I do think a lot of those initiatives, I think we lost a little bit of the culture and some of the things that kept us rooted in the plant. So I always love to hear about the brands and the people that care and are still trying to make sure that is rooted in what we're doing. So
absolutely,
thank you guys for that.
I mean, yeah, that's another one of the hardships is the amount of like mandated plastics and single-use packaging, but can't do much for that currently. But you do what you can.
All in due time, right?
Yeah.
So. Well, this is probably a good segue. I mean, we were talking about trying to Lost Farms. We don't usually do this in our lounge service model, but I mean, clearly you guys are an edible brand, and this just launched in Nevada, so we should probably just do a real-time sampling of the Very Cherry. See if I can figure out the child-proof packaging.
Just push down and twist. You got it. There you go.
Heck yeah.
So this one is infused with supersonic bananas, which is it's like a hybrid cross of Gary Payton and apples and banana strain.
Okay.
We have a nice little sativa, hybrid, and indica offering on our menu.
Very nice. So this is a 10 milligram serving. My resin, man, this is going to change my day.
I was going to say, I hope we're not talking for more than an hour.
we're in the home stretch now, so we'll go ahead.
Cool.
Cheers on this guy.
Salute.
Very, very cherry indeed.
Nevada's the only market that has that flavor too, which
Really?
is fun. All of the strains that also happen to be exclusive to Nevada, but nobody has very cherry either.
I mean, you guys did a great job. The cherry is very prominent, and I'm getting some banana notes from the supersonic banana in there too. Very nice.
I'll share a cool factoid with you that I've been sprinkling this into staff trainings, and people really like this tidbit. Nicole, again, my counterpart who does a lot of our procurement, when she sources a strain that we want to evaluate, we're really intentional with what flavors we pair our strains with. And so when we get a new strain or extract in, we'll actually infuse it into a flavorless gummy so we could understand the nuances of that extract and the terpene profile and pair it with something that's going to help celebrate the cannabis notes and aromas, but also, sometimes you get like a cheese or a funk or a real gassy.
Right.
So we can also work with flavors that'll help tamper that, but you still get to taste some of the cannabis notes without it tasting too much like candy or too much like a ball of hash.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think you did a great job of that. I feel a lot of edibles, not naming names, but you kind of get, obviously yours is live resin, but they kind of distillate aftertaste or something that's like residual on the palate that just doesn't sit well and kind of lessens the experience, so to speak. Sure. I felt that there was cannabis notes in what we just ate there, but it was not super prominent. I think just with what you said on doing like a flavorless gummy, I think that's brilliant, and it's a great way to understand where you're at and how to best pair it. So you guys, every step of the way, you guys are taking care of what you do. So that's great to hear.
We're trying.
So let's talk about like the future. Obviously, you've been in this industry for a while. We've already talked several times about how it's ever changing, but what are some changes that you are currently seeing in the market, especially being a big multi-state operator as you guys are?
Price compression is really prominent in a lot of markets. I'm sure you guys have those same kind of challenges here as we see, more licenses come online or markets grow bigger with tourism or whatever. That's been a challenge for a lot of people. And I think it puts a little bit of pain on everybody in the industry. The consumer wins for sure, right?
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But those are some growing pains. And then getting over this hurdle for decriminalization, like, come the fuck on. It's 2024.
I know. Yeah. It's
what
been
are we doing?
Crazy. I mean, there was a big ripple in the pool there with the federal change. Something's better than nothing. But you're right. We're still very much in the early stages of cannabis reform. And, we talked about this in some past podcasts where it's like, okay, what does this look like 80 years down the line? You know what I mean? What does this look like when it gets to like alcohol level of regulations where it's like it's still controlled but accessible? You know what I mean? And obviously the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So to your credit and credit of all these cannabis industry pioneers out here putting in the legwork, you know what I mean? It's not taken for granted. Right?
Yeah,
So.
I look forward to those days. I'm a big sucker for the History Channel. They'll do those like the cars that built America or the brands that built America, and they always interview people that were part of these big movements or big moments in time. And that's like my finish line is I wait for the day where I could watch about the cannabis industry on the History Channel.
Hopefully they're talking about lounges. They mentioned a little place called NuWu. So being a big multi-state operator and doing everything you're doing, what has been some challenges you guys had to endure with just consistency and keeping your brand consistent throughout?
Yeah. Well, there's a few things too. The consistency also it's inside and outside of packaging. Being able on the inside, the products that we're putting out. I'm sort of speaking out of my wheelhouse here, but we have an incredible business development team and ops team that really makes sure we're working with the best in the business in every market that we're in. We have a whole team that's dedicated to working with out-of-state partners on developing our recipes and our formulas. We have good procurement teams making sure that it's quality in, quality out. There's a bunch of people along the way that are really great stewards of the brand, both inside and outside of Kiva, that have a goal for good quality products. And then the packaging, you do the best you can, because there's some markets where you can't even have a color on your package. It's a white bag and a logo, or you can't have any pictures of imagery or things like that. So trying to do your best to make your brand identifiable in these markets where might be in a pouch, in a different package, in a different color.
That's difficult. I mean, again, like I said earlier, fortunately, you guys do have some iconic and standout branding and things like that. But you're right, keeping that consistent when every state and every market has their own nuances. That's difficult. Mm-hmm. That's difficult. How's the company been changing? I mean, you've been there for a while now, but how has the company structure had to change over the years?
Yeah, that's been incredible to be part of and witness to. When I started, I think there was around 48 of us. I don't know the exact count of Kiva employees today, but I would guess it'd be in the 400s. We have team members all over the country. And it's been really great to see these, areas of growth from everybody who's working out of this tiny office in Oakland, or even before my time, even tinier offices in Hayward. And meeting these new team members from other states and other markets, a lot of adaptability, certainly. I've also been in several different roles in the organization. In California, we also have a distribution arm called Kiva Sales and Service. A lot of my time with Kiva has been over there, so I've done the distro side and been part of that growth and the portfolio growth. So there's certainly never a dull moment, but it keeps things fresh and exciting.
There you go. All right, keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
And that also means opportunities for growth. I don't think you'd
exactly.
Beauty of a new industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are stuttering, the weeds working for me too. What are some of your goals for Kiva in 2024 and beyond?
I want Lost Farm to be everyone's top choice in every market. There's been a lot of brand work before my time in this role, certainly, but really that's number one goal professionally. Continue to develop as a great employee and a good marketer and a good innovator. There are some really exciting things coming for Nevada that I can't speak to just yet, but we're going to do first of its kind product releases. So I'm learning a ton of stuff that never in sales would have had this opportunity, and just learning different areas of the business and how to develop new product lines and new campaigns has been super fun.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So we're in the home stretch here for questions. I got 3 left for you. We haven't touched this volcano. At this point, I think we should just probably do some of this rosin. Have you ever tried the Dr. Dabber XS?
No, I'll try it though.
This is our collaboration with Dr. Dabber. This device is called the XS. It is a portable e-rig. Awesome little device. I want to say they're retailing for about $180. This is our collaborated with it. They have our logo. They're doing it in a gold wrap, so you can only get these here at NuWu. These are available in our gift shop, and we have these for rentals in our lounge. We do include them with some of our table packages. But as you can see, pretty straightforward little device. I'm going to load it with some of this rosin. I don't remember the strain, but it's probably awesome. Any of the Matrix rosin I've had is amazing. But while I get this ready for you, is there any new products you guys have in development that we can talk about?
Certainly these 3 that just came to Nevada a couple weeks ago. I did a little bit of a teaser that we'll be launching a CBN line extension for Lost Farm in Nevada. I can't speak super in depth on what it is, but there's a new category coming from Lost Farms exclusive to Nevada later this year that really excited to see through. In other markets, we finally got live rosin strains dropping in almost every market that Lost Farm is in, which is super exciting. And then in California, we've dabbled in ratios, which has been really fun, and excited to bring those SKUs back full time and, play with some new formulations. And also in California, for anybody who's on the higher tolerance spectrum, we'll be launching 100 milligram single gummies that are called Lost Farm 100 next month, and really excited for that moment too.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Always innovating. You guys are doing a great job over there. What about new markets, like new states, new things? Are you guys looking into any new areas? I know you said you're in 15, so that's not a small number, but I'm sure you're still looking to the future. Is there anything you can talk about in that regard?
Yeah. Lost Farm is not in all those 15, by the way. So we have New Jersey coming online very soon. Florida's coming online very soon. Ohio, we've been there, but just went rec, so that's sort of new, depending on how you look at it. Another southwestern market that I don't know if I'm allowed to share, but you could probably do the math on that one. And then we'll also be dabbling and bringing our chews, Lost Farm chews, to non-California markets. So for anybody who's a fan or tried the California portfolio, we have these just off the charts good fruit chews. They're like little taffies, and we're starting to bring that outside of California.
Very nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Ever expanding. Yeah. So I got a dab ready for you here. I'm going to just press this button, and it's going to start heating up. As soon as this vibrates, it'll be ready to hit.
And this is like a carb?
This is the mouthpiece here. This is literally just right over the atomizer, so you can cover that, but then you won't get airflow.
Okay.
So that's just kind of how you create the airflow in the dab in order to get that, get some clouds. I also just noticed your nails say Lost Farms. That is a flex and a half. Look at that.
Had to come correct.
There you go. Very nice.
Okay. So cover it? Or not yet?
Yeah, don't cover it. Start to hit it, and then you can kind of... There you go. That'll move the wax around so you can get some bigger hits. As Dr. Dabber described on their podcast we did with them when they debuted this, they call it a sipper, not a ripper. So
it's a smooth little head.
Very smooth, very small, very portable. You know what I mean? It's a great device.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this up here with what words of advice would you give to the next generation of people wanting to break into this cannabis industry?
Don't give up. It's hard. It's a lot of work. The rewards are so worth the work, in my opinion. And be open to adapting, be open to, learning and developing. There's definitely no one size fits all in any market anywhere in cannabis. So just, continue to try to level up and be your best person and stick around.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Great words of wisdom. Well, thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it. Lauren, tell them where they can find you and where they can find Kiva online, social media. And
At Lost Farm by Kiva is the social channel, and or at Made by Kiva for Kiva brands at large.
Very nice. Make sure you guys tap in, shoot them a follow. Make sure that you were following NuWu LV on all socials, NuWu Sessions, Sky High Lounge, our sister store, NuWu North up there. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you are subscribed, hit that little bell, get that notification, and we'll see you on the next episode of NuWu Sessions. Thank you guys very much. We out.
Thank you.
I'll let you know that you need to hit that subscribe button right down there and click the little bell so that you get notified every time a new episode drops. Thanks for watching.